Are you all set to master your IELTS examination? If yes, then join me as we explore the examiner's top criteria for each module and uncover the keys to achieving the best scores. So without any further delays, let's just straight get into it. Students, let's discuss the most challenging module first, which is writing. Okay, so these are the 4 parameters that you are going to be judged upon for your writing module. First of which is task achievement. Okay, so task achievement is all about structuring your answer well, addressing all the parts of the question that you have been assigned, and sticking to the word limit. Okay, once you do all of these, you are good to go. So in task 1, let's say you have 150 words, so you should stick to that. In task 2, you have 250 words, so make sure that you are not going below these. Okay, now the second thing is that you have to have a structure to your writing. So for task 1, you have to have an introduction, an overview, and then 2 body paragraphs, right? Similarly, for your task 2, when you are writing an essay, you again have to have an introduction, an outline of what you are going to cover in the entire essay in the introductory paragraph only. Then you have to have 2 major body paragraphs, and then lastly your conclusion, right? Now once all of this is done, you need to understand that all of the things that they have asked you in the question, you have addressed that. So once all that is good, you are good to go for this particular parameter, and all of these, remember, have 25% weightage. Okay, so 25% weightage is covered here once you do this successfully. Now the second thing is coherence and cohesion. Now here we have to make sure that whatever you are writing, students, that should have a flow to itself, and that should have a logical following also. So say for instance you are developing an argument in your particular answer, point 1 should lead to point 2, point 2 should lead to point 3, and so on and so forth. All right, and you also have to make sure that cohesion is also there. So what is cohesion? Cohesion is whatever you have written should make sense as an overall thing. Okay, so the entirety of the essay that you have written should make sense as one whole thing. All right, now once you take care of this, you also need to check whether you are using appropriate but uncommon vocabulary items also, which are obviously related to your topic that's been assigned. Okay, now once this is also done, you should lastly check that your grammar is on point. So whatever kind of sentential structures you are using and punctuation that you are incorporating in your essay or your report writing, they should not hinder with what you are trying to convey largely. All right, so once all of these things are done nicely and achieved successfully, you can expect a good band score. Okay, so the second module that we have to discuss is speaking. Now for this, again we have 4 parameters for your assessment. First is fluency and coherence. So for fluency, they try to see whether you are taking a lot of unnecessary breaks or pauses, whether you are using a lot of fillers, and if you are being hesitant about whatever topic you are speaking for. Okay, so when all of these things are there, then obviously you are going to score less on this parameter. But if you talk fluently, if you do not take a lot of pauses and usage of fillers is also less, then you can have a better score at this one. Again, apart from this, they also check if you are being coherent, if you are logically following with whatever you are speaking or not. Okay, so remember to incorporate that as well. Now once this is okay, they also check whether you are using different vocabulary items or not, whether your vocabulary items are uncommon or very generic by nature, or if you have a good grasp of collocations and idioms as well. So if you incorporate that, you are going to have a better go with this particular category. Okay, now the third one again is very similar to what we discussed for the writing module. So you have to make sense with your grammatical configuration. All right, you don't have to use sentences in such a manner that they are becoming a barrier to whatever idea you are trying to convey. Okay, once this is all checked, you have to check the last option or the last parameter, which is your pronunciation. So what is pronunciation? We all know. So in this one, they are going to see whether you are articulating the letters and words you are using correctly or not. Okay, so all of these are very important for your speaking module. So students, now let's discuss the third section, which is your reading. So before diving into this, I need you to understand that this structure of this reading test is going to be very different from your writing and speaking. Why? Because now you're not going to be writing about something at length or speaking about it, but the instructions and questions for this one are going to be really different. So maybe you can be expected to, do gap filling or take MCQs or, have short question answer types. So this is very different. Hence, the skills which are going to be tested are also going to be different. Okay, so what are they? So in this one, you need to check all of these four. Now, first one is, are you able to understand the main idea that is flowing in the passages or not? The second thing is, you should also be able to capture the minute details which are there in the paragraph. So maybe facts and all, maybe there are some data figures and so on and so forth. So can you understand that or not? Okay, now apart from this, they also try to check if you are good with drawing conclusions or if you are good with inference. All right, now once all of these are good, you should also be having a good grasp over different vocabulary items, right? So because of the fact that you have to work with your synonyms and paraphrasing, you should have a good base of lexical items that you have stored in your lexicon. Okay, now students, let's discuss the last module that we have, which is listening. So for this, you need to first understand that this is very much similar to your reading. Okay, the skills they are going to be testing here are very similar to the skills they are testing in reading. Okay, so the only difference is that here the thing is they are speaking stuff and you have to understand that and work with the spoken word, and in the reading section you have to work with the written word. Okay, so in the parameters also the only difference is that you have to follow the narrative here instead of the text. So for reading you have to understand the text organization and structure, but for this you have to understand and follow the narrative that is going on in the audio files. Okay, apart from that, again you have to work with understanding the main idea and capturing the minute details again, and you also have to be good with inferences and all, right? So we have already discussed that for the reading section, and you should also be having a good grammar and vocabulary base again, because if you are hearing something and you can't understand the words only that are going on in the narrative, then you won't be able to work with the questions they are going to give you in the question paper. Okay, so all of these are very similar to reading, but the only difference is that you have to follow a narrative here and not text. Okay, so that's all for today, students. I hope this was helpful. If there is any other topic related to IELTS that you are struggling with, please let me know about it in the comment section and I will talk about it in my next video. As for now, I shall take you leave, but I shall definitely meet you soon. Thank you.